We're back out on the bass buggy talking about one of my favorite subjects, the good old Texas rig, and what I can do to this thing to generate bites even on the slowest of days. It's my super secret technique. Stick around, you don't want to miss it. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing, and once again, we're talking about the good old Texas rig. You know, this thing's probably caught more bass across the country than any other technique or presentation that I can think of. It's great for beginners to do, and it's also great for advanced anglers to use. It just generates strikes everywhere across the country. That's why I'm always talking about this thing. And for such a simple presentation, there's so much we can do with it. A lot of times, though, even this old girl needs some help. So, what do? Well, a lot of anglers will take and put glass beads on it. Put them up underneath that bullet weight like that, and you get that little clack. Sure, a lot of guys know about that, and it works so well. But what do you do when even that doesn't work? Well, to answer that, let me tell you a quick story. And a few years ago, I'm fishing on the bank, doing okay, but not really great. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a flash, a sparkle. So I look over to the side, and there, hung up in a bush, is this teeny tiny little spinnerbait. It looks almost like a trout fly with a spinner connected to it. So I pulled it out of the bush, and it looked like it'd been there for a while because the hook was all rusted and broken, so that wasn't any good. I wasn't really using this bait for anything but parts. So it had a little Colorado blade on it, and I took that Colorado blade off. I thought maybe I can save this for later. But being the slow day that it was, and I didn't really have a whole lot of gear with me, I figured I would try something out. And that's when I came up with this system, and it has been working tremendously for me ever since. What is that, you might ask? Well, let me show you. Well, it's pretty much your standard Texas rig. There's nothing really fancy about it. I've got a bobber stop on there, and I've got a 1/8 ounce bullet weight on this, but as you can see, I've added a little willow leaf blade right there between the weight and the bait. And that generates just a little bit of flash whenever I'm dragging it or whenever I'm hopping it. It doesn't move all the time. It only moves when the bait is moving. It gives me a little extra thump, and it gives me a little extra flash. In clear water, I like to go with a little willow blade. In dirty, super stained water, I'll go with a little Colorado blade. But I never go with anything bigger than something like this. It works spectacularly on days whenever you need to attract a little bit of attention to your bait or a lot more attention to your bait. On days that I find that I'm having a hard time getting anything at all, I pull this out, and before long, I've landed a fish or two. Sometimes they're dinks, sometimes they're really good, but either way, I don't go home skunked, and that is the main thing. So, let's head out to the water. I'll show you how this thing looks, and let's see if we can't catch some bass with it. Okay, we've got our Texas rig rigged up with a couple of beads and that little blade right there. So we're going to fish it out here. See if we can say hello to anyone. I'm seeing a little bit of activity, so that's encouraging. But I'm kind of fishing it more like a wacky rig, where I'm giving it a couple of pops and letting that blade do its thing. I'm letting it pop up and then float back down. Let that blade float down, because that's when it's going to spin. So we're going to stop here and fish right through here. There's some logs that are right there. We've got some shade moving in. But that got me to thinking, how many of you out there use fish attractants, sprays, jellies, or whatever? Now myself, I don't really use them. I mean, I've got a couple of bottles, but I've never seen where they really make much of a difference. Some people swear by them. They say that it really makes a big difference for them. They get more bites. Put it down in the comments section. Let us know. Do you use attractants? Do you use scents? How well do they work for you? And while you're down there, hit that like button. Let me know that you like this content. Help our little community grow. And maybe, I don't know, consider subscribing. That would be great. We'd love to have you. The more the merrier. Our little community here is growing pretty good. And we'd like to have you along with us. Join in the discussion. The more discussion we have, the more knowledge we have, the more everybody can learn. I just really appreciate you guys watching. Coming to my little corner of the internet and just watching my content. I really do appreciate that. So, give it a try. Give it a try. I think you'll actually have a lot of good luck with it. It's just a few things. Like I said, you don't have to have the beads. Today I've got the beads on it. Give it a little bit extra clack, but a lot of times you don't have to have the beads. You can just go from have your bobber stop a little bit high so that weight can separate. You want that weight to separate so this blade can come up like that whenever it's falling. That's the key to everything. Been a slow day today though. These fish are just not in a biting mood, I don't suppose. It does really good coming through the slop. There we are. Come on, buddy. Stay down. Ooh, that's pretty good. Get up here. I want to ski you in so you can't. Boy, he's a pretty good fighter. That's a pretty good fight. Oh, he's a good fish. Wow. That is a really good fish. That's a spot. That's not a largie. That is a spot. You see the dorsal fin? How it doesn't go up, how it doesn't go really high. It's kind of flat and low. You see how the jaw goes just behind the eye, even with it. And it's got a lighter color. This is a spot. But it's a really nice fish. I knew they were hanging out up underneath that. Eh. 114. Not quite 2. But we knew that. This is a chunky little spot. Do you see the markings there? How the dorsal fin has got that point right there between those two dorsal fins. How it's kind of low. It doesn't go up and around. And see how his eye is even. This is a spotted bass. And his tongue is rough, rough, rough. So this is a little spot, but I'm going to get a picture with it. All right, there we go, little buddy. That was nice. Thank you for playing. Let's see if we have time for one more. I knew they were up under that tree. And there he goes. So long, buddy. Thank you for playing. Little little willow leaf blade on the Texas rigged worm worked wonders. We caught us a nice spot on that. It worked great. We had just a little regular stick bait, regular bullet weight. I put a couple of beads on here, and I've got my bobber stop hook here to allow that weight to free them to move a little bit. Like I said, when that weight moves free, those beads move up and that blade can move, and it only moves on the fall, or it moves whenever it's falling through the water. It doesn't move when you're reeling it in. So it works really great for me, and we caught a nice fish on it. So easy to do. Try it for yourself. You probably have all the components in your tackle box. So whenever you're having a hard time catching some fish or getting a bite, try this. Pull this out. I bet you'll have a lot better luck. So there you go. That's my secret hack for Texas rigs when I really need to generate those bites. Now, I've never seen anybody else doing it, and had it not been a chance encounter with a little spinnerbait caught in a bush, I probably would have never thought of it myself. And I can't tell you how well it works. It keeps me from getting skunked. I've generated so many bites using that technique when nothing else would. It's just a little subtle thump, and for me, it works better than the glass beads when I really need it to. And then, it always does the job for me. So, give it a try. Put it in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.